as well as conflicts with Almyra. But this is an invasion by an army of the Empire. It's a whole different animal. I don't want to see my family get dragged into this.
Part 2. Azure Moon. Garland Moon. The Golden Deer's Plea. The Kingdom Army has reclaimed the Kingdom capital and plans to immediately begin restoring the country and its forces. But an unexpected request arrives from Claude, leader of the Leicester Alliance. Dimitri promptly responds to the request for aid, and he rushes to prepare the Kingdom's forces.
We have received a request for aid from the Alliance. They are being invaded by the Empire. We have only just taken back Ferdiad, and yet I am already asking all of you to move out once more. Please accept my apologies for that.
That's no problem at all. More importantly, how is the Alliance faring?
House Regan has rallied the Alliance Lords. They are facing the enemy with all the strength they can muster. But we do not know how far that will get them. It seems the enemy's relentless attacks have forced them into a tough situation. Their defeat at Gronder severely weakened the Alliance. I imagine the Empire now intends to destroy them before they can recover.
To think they'd watch us chase their soldiers out of the Kingdom capital, then immediately go invade the Alliance.
What I'm thinking is that they want to secure more soldier and more power, so going, since they just lost the part of the kingdom that they took, axing out the Alliance right now will put them back into a stalemate, is what I believe.
Their general is Lord Volkard von Arundel. He serves as regent to the Emperor. He has presumably taken command after the Emperor was wounded in Gronder.
He is known for his shrewdness and excels not only in domestic affairs, but tactics as well. He is not an opponent we should take lightly. Lord Arundel.
Are you concerned?
I always suspected that Lord Arundel was behind the tragedy 9 years ago. The timing of his departure from the kingdom, the fact that he abruptly stopped making donations. Too many factors made him suspect. If Lord Arundel conspired with Cornelia, then what Kronya and the others said 5 years ago?
You weren't there,
Well,
Gilbert.
never mind that for now. The Alliance needs our help. What are your thoughts?
If we turn our back on the Alliance and then Deirdre falls, it will undoubtedly make our situation difficult further down the road. We would have enemies in 2 directions, in the Alliance to the northeast, and in the Empire to the south.
That is true. In that scenario, we would not be able to safely march our soldiers to Enbar.
I am terribly worried about Lady Rhea, but I believe we must save the Alliance first. Oh, maybe if we do this, the Alliance will help us out in return.
Good
We
thinking.
could ask them to help us attack the Empire. You know, a sneak attack or something.
Annie, when did you become so devious?
What would your mother think?
What? It wasn't that devious.
What do you think, Professor?
It sounds like a good plan.
Yes, I agree. I will admit that there is something to be gained for us as well, for when we eventually march south. But far more importantly, they need us. We cannot turn our backs on them.
Yeah.
We will arrange to head out at once. Prepare yourselves, everyone.
I see a green exclamation mark right now. That must mean we're ready for the last... Is it just one paralog? Okay, now the Dimitri intend to claim it. So... This is Dimitri's paralog. I think this is the final paralog that I'm missing overall, so... Yeah, it'll be best if I could do this, like... No, do this later. You know, I could probably put that in... yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, it should work. Let's see what we got for support. Dimitri and Dudu.
Your Highness, you still have scars on your back. It does you no good to languish in pain. I will procure some medicine.
No, it is fine. Though they are still deep, these are from 9 years ago. They do not hurt any longer. Besides, it would be a shame if the scars I got from protecting you were to fade. I bear these scars proudly. It makes me think that it was worthwhile that someone like me survived.
To hear you say such things.
Dudu, you say that I saved you. But do you know that you also saved me that day? If I had been unable to save anyone, I would have been the sole survivor. I would have had no reason to keep living. But I saved someone. Saved you. That and that alone has always been my crutch.
When I stood before those soldiers and their swords that day, I was prepared to die. But then, you suddenly appeared, and you shielded me. I knew then that a savior's hand could reach into even the deepest darkness. I still have not been able to repay that debt.
Have you not heard a word I've said? You have saved me in countless ways. 5 years ago, I did nothing but await my execution within my jail cell. Was it not you that saved me?
That was nothing more than my duty as your vassal.
Listen, Dudu, perhaps you consider me to be someone special, but I think the same of you. You are irreplaceable, cherished. So stop saying that we cannot be friends. Stop saying such awful things.
Please, do not look at me that way. You promised me you would build a kingdom that is proud to boast of Duscar blood. In this kingdom, where there is no distinction between the people of Duscar and the people of Fodlan, will I finally, without reservation, be able to call you my friend? Will I, Dimitri?
Dudu. Yes, you will call me your friend again and again, no matter how many hardships I must endure.
I will do all I can to bring about that world as well. To be your friend is what I have always wanted.
Is that so? I am glad to hear it.
But until that time, we must allow no harm to befall you. So please call upon me when you walk alone at night. And even when you go out in the day, please tell me where you are going and whom you are meeting.
In the end, I suppose there is no fixing your overprotectiveness, is there? I suppose I can live with that.
Dudu is nothing more than Frederick Light. You're still not ready?
Oh.
Flame? What is the matter? Is something weighing on your mind again? It is freezing out here. You should be bundled up in your warm bed.
Listen, Dimitri. The truth is, I am afraid of sleeping.
Afraid of it? Why?
I am afraid that when I close my eyes, I shall fall into a very deep sleep. One from which I cannot wake up. For years upon years. Then, when I finally awaken, everyone I know and love will be long gone. Vanished with the sands of time. I am sure it seems silly. But try as I might, I cannot shake this fear.
I cannot quite grasp what you are describing. But I can promise you one thing. No matter how many years go by, I will always remember you.
I appreciate the sentiment. Even so, one day...
Listen carefully, Flame. There is something I have been wanting to tell you.
Oh? What is that?
You know that dish you made the other day? It was so sweet, it made my tongue go numb.
I am not so sure that is a good thing.
Well, I could only really taste the first bite, so I may have been imagining it. But still, I was so happy. That moment will always put a smile on my face whenever I remember it. I could never forget you, Flame. I promise. Besides, we have fought side by side. We are friends. I am sure all of the others would say the same. Is something the matter?
You really do not pick up on subtle cues, do you?
You were in the moment.
Well, it is all a part of your charm, I suppose. With you here, I finally feel I can sleep without having to worry at all.
Hey, wait! I did not mean for you to fall asleep right here.
Someday you appreciate food.
Flame... she is hopeless.
I love it. That was sweet. Let's see. Catherine, Aloise, Gilbert, Annette. Annette's the only one left. So yeah, Gilbert and Catherine.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
What is it, Annette?
I completely forgot that it's my turn for kitchen duty today. Huh? Did you do all the kitchen prep already?
Kitchen duty is mine today.
What? But, oh, did I get the day wrong?
Yes, yours is tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow, I really am something else.
These things happen. Is something funny?
Oh, no, I was just happy. So, you probably already know this, but my uncle is really strict. He wanted me to be perfect at cooking, studying, cleaning, washing, everything really. He said if I wasn't perfect, as a knight's daughter, I'd be devaluing my crest. Whenever I messed up, he looked so mad, and he'd sigh like he just lost his faith in humanity.
That is harsh.
Oh, I know he loved me and all. He was just kind of scary. But you've helped me out and been patient with me without getting mad. I'm just so happy. Thank you, Dedu.
I have hardly done anything.
You know what? You remind me of my father.
Of Gilbert.
You look scary at first glance, but you're actually really kind.
Is that so?
Oh, right. Let me help you with something, if that's okay with you. What are you cooking today? Hopefully I can chip in.
It is a meat dish from Fargus.
I'm still a complete klutz, so I'm not gonna be in the way, am I?
Not at all. I was hoping that the food I made would bring a smile to your face.
Oh, wow. That's... Well then, I can't wait for dinner time.
Good.
Oh, that was great. Well, that's all of the support. Okay, let's explore. Let's see what people have to say.
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. I hear Deirdre is our next objective. Small world. That's actually where I grew up. It's a great place.
That's it? Okay, cool.
It's happened. The Alliance is now little more than a battlefield. I guess that was inevitable. So far, Albrecht territory has remained unscathed, but that won't last forever.
We'll win this for the Alliance as well.
When I see that Arundel guy, I'm gonna knock him flat. We're short on time, but we have to go in prepared. If we lose this, we lose everything. The stakes are too damn high.
I guess if I'm taking more than 10 people, or 11 people, I'm taking you with me.
So, the king who came back from hell, defeated the tyrant and liberated the people. It's like something out of a poetic saga. At least those in need will see it as such.
How do you see it?
It isn't like the poor need some lofty air basking in glory. What they need is someone who can ease their woes, keep them fed, things like that. How they view such a king all depends on his ability to provide for them. All things considered, I imagine Dimitri will do a fine job at it.
You know, I also imagine that this is similar to all the other Fire Emblems game where the main character loses his kingdom, now has to fight back his kingdom. And now has to, the next step now is to defeat the enemy kingdom. To secure peace forever after.
People have always fought, I guess. Bandits and nobles clashing over territory, things like that. So before the war, when folks talked about how peaceful everything was, I thought, what continent are you living on? I get it now. A few isolated skirmishes here and there are nothing compared to a full-blown war. The one truly peaceful place I've known was the village where I grew up.
The army runs you ragged, marches you from place to place, prodding you to fight. They promised me 3 meals a day. They'd have to give a lot more than that to get me to sign on. I'd rather starve down here than deal with that.
But you're helping the world.
I was most relieved to hear that no one at the School of Sorcery was harmed. They are capable people who bear Fodlan's future on their shoulders. We can afford to lose none of them.
It's good that Ferdinand is ours once again.
Yes, the future of magic is bright. Though it would be brighter if my own house's future was guaranteed. The Alliance is next on our agenda, yes? Watch carefully for my dazzling spellcraft.
Right. If I decide to use you. But I think I'm going to be using Balthus, maybe. Who is in the room? Oh, Ash.
The very same night we liberated the capital, a messenger arrived from Deirdre. Claude must have predicted that we'd retake it.
Definitely.
Claude's a hard person to read. It's obvious not much escapes his eye, though. Kind of unsettling, honestly.
You tell me.
So war finally comes to the Alliance territories. I don't mean that there's never been fighting on Alliance soil, of course. There have been countless skirmishes between neighboring lords, as well as conflicts with Elmira. But this is an invasion by an army of the Empire. It's a whole different animal. I don't want to see my family get dragged into this. I hope we can drive back the Empire.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. Okay, this is going on my Twitter page. And if you've seen it, then you know what day I actually recorded this video.
I am being told you can see the sea from Deirdre. Not just see, that it is right there in front of you. In Bridget, the sea has great closeness. I would be looking at it every day. But in Garrick Mach, we cannot look at the sea. So I am feeling drawn to Deirdre.
The ocean is beautiful.
Yes, I think the sea has much beauty, but can also be frightening.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Deirdre is known as the aquatic capital. It's a beautiful town with streets that seem to float on the water and an impressive harbor. In times of peace, it would be a wonderful place for a holiday. Anyway, best of luck in the next battle.
We took Ferdiad back, but I never found the time to go shopping there. When the war's over and the city is revitalized, I'd like to visit again. Will you come with me, Professor?
Alright.
Really? Oh, I'm so glad. Although, I suppose we have bigger things on our plate, like Claude. He's in big trouble. I bet my family is too. We have to help them, Professor. I know we can't lose with you on our side.
I like how she just said, we have bigger things like Claude.
We can't actually join you on the battlefield, but rest assured that we're there in spirit. We're doing everything we can to support the army, so give it your all out there.
We're gonna go help Claude? I haven't seen him in forever. Wonder how he's been. I chose this side because I believe in you, Professor, but it's not like I got anything against Claude.
What's he like?
Well, he loved parties, and he was full of some pretty good jokes.
I got no clue what'll happen to the Alliance, but I sure hope Claude doesn't die.
Yeah, we need to save him ASAP.
It'll take a little while yet for the capital to be restored to its former glory. But it's not dead yet. Doesn't matter how many times you put the people of Ferdiad down. They'll get right back up again. Just you watch. Before long, things will be back to how they were.
Deirdre, huh? I've always wanted to go there. In Fargus, most of the towns are pretty much glorified fortresses. So, to hear about a place called the Aquatic Capital, it just sounds so elegant. When the war's over, I hope I can visit with everyone there.
I went to visit my adoptive father at his home in the capital. He used to grovel at Cornelia's feet when the city was under her control. But after it was liberated, he started courting the kingdom instead.
That despicable?
Absolutely. He's hopeless. I suppose when you're a merchant, that's all you know. No matter what becomes of the world, it'll always be plagued by people like him.
Hello. Not you!
Claude, eh? He always was sharp among his peers. Never let himself get caught up in conventions. He wasn't typical in Fodlan. I'd like to save him if we can.
We'll make it in time.
I know. And I'm sure he's already calculated exactly when that will be.
I'm glad Dimitri and Claude don't have to fight one another. I am the daughter of an Alliance Lord, though, so I suppose that goes without saying. Having to fight with your former classmates is just so terribly sad.
Right. Didn't they used to call Claude the Master Tactician? I want a nickname too. Maybe I'll get one if I can rescue him at Deirdre. I'll come up with a plan that's even better than his and earn a nickname for sure.
But first you need a brain for that.
Guess this doesn't end with liberating the kingdom capital. Deirdre is next. That prince really works his people hard, doesn't he? Or should I be calling him a king now? Whatever the title is, he'll always be Dimitri to me.
I have been wondering something. If I had not been your student, where would I be right now? Who would I be?
You'll be dead.
Do you ever think about that sort of thing, Professor?
Like, if I have led a different class?
Ah, so you do think about such questions. You can never find answers, though, right?
Maybe. I don't know. There's this thing called save files and new game classes and new game and routes, and you can actually figure out where you be in those, well, scenarios. Think about it.
We cannot turn back time, so there is no way to go back and try a different path.
The Alliance leader is too demanding and the prince is too soft-hearted, don't you think? They spilled much of each other's blood at Gronder. I lost a lot of friends to the Alliance. Sorry, I shouldn't complain. I know this is tactically sound. Everyone seems on board with it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have any misgivings.
It was over 20 years ago. There was an illness raging across Ferdiad, while people were dying left and right. It was Cornelia who saved the kingdom from that dreadful illness.
I can't imagine it.
Neither can I. By the time I was old enough to understand, that time had already passed. People praised Cornelia as a saint for ending the epidemic. But there came a day when she completely changed. Her behavior, mannerisms, likes, dislikes, everything. Despite all that, Father still appointed her to a high post. After all, she had saved the kingdom from ruin by that disease. But above all, my stepmother trusted her. That's why what that woman said is... Never mind.
Something tells me that Cornelia was probably an imposter, kind of like how Cronia was towards Monica. How Monica was the Monica that we knew was a fake, and it was someone else. And I think I didn't show it because I already showed it in some other route. Said also came up with the conclusion that Tomas was the Tomas that we knew was probably a fake and not the real Tomas. So that's what I'm thinking right now.
Lord Rodrigue Fraldarius has passed on. Margrave Gautier has assumed his position and is now gathering the lords of the Eastern Territories. House Gautier is equal in prestige to House Fraldarius. Sylvain is a Gautier. These lords are reorganizing the Fargus army and eradicating any remaining factions that claim allegiance to the Empire. Of course, His Highness is being kept apprised with regular reports, but it falls to me to monitor him and ensure he does not try to take on too much. I would ask you to do the same. If you take your eyes off that man, even for a moment, he is liable to do something rash.
Yeah, take off your eyes for like 5 years and he goes all crazy.
Deirdre, the aquatic capital. I've heard it's a magnificent city, you know? If we're going, I wish it wasn't to wage war. It'd be more fun to visit with a cute girl on my arm.
Maybe once the war is over.
You're right. That's something to look forward to.
I was getting excited for our big Empire showdown. I spent so much time mentally preparing. Then we shifted focus to Deirdre. I hadn't been expecting that. But, as a knight who's sworn to serve the goddess, I cannot turn a blind ear to those who seek my aid.
We're still searching for Lady Rhea. No news on that, I'm afraid. Lord Arundel, the Emperor's uncle, is the regent of the Empire. If we crush them at Deirdre, maybe we'll capture him and wring some clues out of him.
Got one note. They were slow for a long time. I saw how people there server recovery. There must be something to save them. Yeah, of course. That should work.
So, listen.
I hope Judith is alright.
I heard that Deirdre is under attack. I hope Judith is alright. She may be the hero of Daphne, but facing the might of the Empire? I wish there was something more I could do. But I can only pray and hope.
Dimitri is going to Claude's aid. How great is that? It's like we've gone back to how things were 5 years ago. It's so nice. Just imagine if 80 was there too. I suppose you can't ever really go back to the way things were in the past.
Yeah, well, 80 is not. I don't think she's going to be helping Claude. In fact, she's probably more on trying to get a little trying to claim the land or something. Probably something about how Claude's not to be trusted and needs to get rid of him ASAP. Or put the alliance down.
My uncle gave me some of my father's belongings, weapons, books. But there was something else that my old man really wanted to pass down. He wanted me to inherit his mission, ensuring that Dimitri ascends the throne. Or so I believe.
Remember the Death Knight who stabbed me 5 years ago? Of course you do. How could you forget? Well, it turns out he's a general in the Imperial Army, claiming victories on dozens of battlefields. But it looks like he's not at Deirdre. Like every man in my life, he's run away from me. And he better run. One day I'm gonna find that guy and pay him back for what he did to me.
At least you can agree that that's one guy you don't want to mess with.
What do you think? Speaking of with the capital recaptured, I desire to call him Your Majesty rather than Your Highness. He would refuse my desire, rightfully pointing out that he has not as yet been crowned. However, the day this war is ended and the Church has placed the crown upon his head, then he will truly be our king, and I will call him Your Majesty at last. I must go hear the reports from our spies. There is something worrying me and... No, it can wait. I shall tell you more when our information is more concrete.
Is it about Cornelia? Because I think that's important.
You plan to aid Claude, do you not? Huh, I think that is absolutely marvelous. being opposing forces at the Battle of Gronder was ill-fated. It hurt to side against him. I am happy that things have taken a brighter turn now.
I thought there was a chance that Cornelia had captured Lady Rhea, but it seems that is not the case. Our next foe, Lord Arundel, was once a pious adherent to the Seros Creed. His contributions to the church stopped quite abruptly some time ago. I think it is likely the man knows something.
Cornelia Arnhem. That's a familiar name, yes. She once studied in the Empire. My understanding is, shortly after I left the Empire, she did as well. Unlike myself, Cornelia traveled to the kingdom. Apparently, she halted a plague and was rewarded with a quite powerful appointment. That such an outstanding researcher should fall to such depravity. Sickening, Professor, and quite sad.
Even if we do enter Alliance territory, we're not gonna find Lady Rhea there. I wish we could leave Claude be and go attack the Empire.
Shut up, we're gonna save Claude.
I suppose if we can't beat the Empire forces here, then we can't get into the Empire lands, can we? I guess that just means it's hard work time, huh, Professor?
Traveling to the Empire, to the Kingdom, and then off to Alliance territory? Everyone certainly is busy. Perhaps it's not a bad thing now that I think about it.
It's all in the pursuit of peace.
Peace will be lovely. Peace will, one assumes, be considerably less perilous.
The pro-imperialist lords who have let the Empire in have their hands tied. Houses Ordelia and Gloucester are exposed and likely caught off guard. That must mean that Claude's allies are...
Count Daphne?
Without a doubt, she is providing reinforcements. She has always supported Claude. Whatever the situation, Claude's military strength is lacking. And what's more, they suffered casualties at Gronder Field. I don't know how long the Alliance forces will be able to hold out against the Empire. We've got to move quickly, or we may be too late.
So House Regan has regained its influence in the Alliance, and is gathering forces. Claude always was somewhat inscrutable. It's strange somehow to hear talk of his brilliance as the leader of the Alliance.
Using the Great Bridge of Myrddin as a base, we'll spread out and cover as much ground as possible in our search for Her Grace. Judging by the information we've gathered, the most suspicious location is definitely the Imperial capital. The Hrim territory, whose leader is a mere puppet, and the Ire territory, whose leader was deposed and disappeared. The Empire has a lot of places with suspicious happenings. It's certainly worth investigating. But it won't do to take too much time in relieving the Alliance army. Please, hurry.
It seems Dimitri has become downright charitable. But I believe he is operating under a serious misapprehension. It may appear as if Claude is appealing to Dimitri for aid, but that is not what is happening here.
It isn't our interpretation.
Yes, a fine example of how snap decisions based on mere appearances can lead to gross misunderstanding. Claude has asked for reinforcements from here because he knows that I am here. Simply put, he is not throwing himself on Dimitri's mercy, he is throwing himself on mine. I suppose there is nothing else for it, is there? We cannot turn our backs on those in need. Let us grant him the aid he requires.
Oh, god damn it, Lawrence. It has to be all about you. Okay, I guess that is done. Get any more support dealing with Dimitri, Dudu, or well, these guys are already full. So yeah, it's just Dimitri, Dudu, and Gilbert, which honestly is just Dimitri. Hold up, let me see if I can get it right now. Okay, well, yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Dimitri, just the man I was looking for. I wanted to thank you for your help.
My help? I'm not sure what you mean.
Don't tell me you've forgotten your help when the monsters attacked.
Ah, you mean the day you came up with those terribly hilarious jokes?
When you put it like that, I feel like you're the one who's kidding. Even I knew those jokes were awful. I was trying to think on my feet, to raise the soldiers' spirits.
Well, you certainly succeeded. Our journey home was much easier as a result. As for myself, I am not much of an orator. I could never have done the same in that situation.
You're the only reason the gags didn't fall flat. If you hadn't started laughing when you did.
Well, I admit the jokes themselves were perhaps not your best work. But there is no harm in that. Even when you stumble, your good humor brightens everyone's mood and wins their trust.
Yeah? You think? I never thought about it like that. But if you say so, maybe I do have a knack for this.
As one who is bound to lead, I could stand to learn a lot from you. I am often told by both friends and subordinates that I am without humor. Alois, if you would be so kind, could you teach me to tell jokes?
Sure, I'm happy to help. If you want to be as lousy a joker as I am, you could surely find a better teacher somewhere else. In the stables, for example.
No. I would like to learn from you, Alois.
I see. Well, I guess I can't say no. I hope you're ready to become a wizard of wit.
I will endeavor to be a good student.
Very good. That's what I like to hear. Soon you'll be cracking wise like there's no tomorrow. Everyone will think you're a pun in the neck.
What brings you here at this hour, and with sword in hand no less? Hardly the appropriate attire for prayer.
I am not here to pray to the goddess. I am here to atone for my sins.
I see.
You are your father's reflection. He was never skilled at deception either. Your demand that I take your life was sincere, no matter how you might pretend otherwise.
How astute of you. So, you think you can see right through me, do you?
I watched over you from the day you were born. And that is why it pains me so to do this. It is like taking the life of my own son.
I am sorry to burden you with this, but you have my gratitude. Now, make it quick.
Yes.
You really are a cruel man.
You believe death will bring an end to your torment? That is nothing but an act of cowardice. No matter how difficult, no matter how painful, your duty to your people is to continue fighting.
Even if those who have died, the many whose lives I have taken, would rather see me dead?
Many pray for your death. However, there are far more who need you here. Alive. In Fargus, in the monastery, in this army, and here, standing before you, to serve you, to bear your torment alongside you. That, your highness, is my atonement.
Look at my hands.
They are shaking.
When I saw your sword swing before my eyes, for the first time, I did not wish to die. Many times I have felt that I cannot afford to die. But this was the first time I truly feared the prospect. Tell me, Gustav, is it really right for me to live?
It is, your highness. It truly is.
I thank you.
Reach for my hand.